So a bit of a change of scenery for this video because I'm in Croatia and I'm actually in Dubrovnik. You can see the old town just over my shoulder here, but I'm here on a family holiday. But of course, I also need to sneak off and do a little bit of photography as well. So join me as I explore the old city and also share a few tips so you can also hijack your family holiday for a little bit of photography.
Dubrovnik's old town is a 16th century city on the edge of the Adriatic Sea. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations in the Mediterranean, attracting millions of tourists each year. Its iconic architecture, ancient walls and rugged coastline make it both in turn a great place for a family holiday, whilst also being a great photography destination. And often, these two things can be hard to balance.
So the first thing you probably need to do to not lose too much quality time with the family is trick them into location scouting with you. Whether that be your partner or even your kids or just any loved ones. Convince them to come out for a walk around the city. Tell them that you'll buy them an ice cream, or you should go and check out a lovely view, or we should just go for a general walk. But whilst you're on that walk, make sure you take note of where you want to shoot the next day. Take your phone out and take a few example images. Now, actually, I've already done that and I lured Brooke out on a bit of a morning run around the city and tempted her with a little bit of ice cream at the end. So we've actually already scouted out a few little locations around the city that I'd like to visit. One of them actually being up there near the fort that I'm going to shoot at sunrise one morning. But that's step one, and now to revisit all those locations without missing out on too much family time at the pool. So this is one of the viewpoints that we actually scouted out a couple of days ago on a morning run. And as you can see behind me here, we've got the old town and we're stood on the steps that lead up to the fort just opposite the old town. It's a fort you can actually visit, but we've just decided to set up on the stairways by the entrance here. And this morning's actually really windy. It's much windier than any morning we've had here in Dubrovnik actually, which is a bit of a shame. It's definitely bringing a few different problems that I need to kind of work around. I mean, firstly this morning we came a little bit earlier during blue hour because I was hoping there would be more lights on the old town there. The wall around the city isn't all that lit up, which isn't what I expected, but there is a little bit of light, kind of more towards the mainland and inside the city as well. But with a shot like this, obviously I want to be on a tripod. It's pretty low light, so I'm doing a longer exposure. But that brings a few problems on a windy day as well. You know, I kind of want movement in the water, but I don't necessarily want the boats down here in the harbour to be blurry because of the motion. And also there's a bit of foliage on the right hand side here as well. And again, I don't really want that to be blurry. So I've got a couple of different options really. I can shoot everything in one longer exposure and just not worry about it and just accept the fact that some of those things are going to be a bit blurry. Or I can shoot multiple exposures and I can shoot a longer exposure to get that movement in the sea and the correct exposure for the scene, and then shoot some faster shutter speeds using a higher ISO, faster shutter speeds to try and freeze some of this foliage and freeze some of those boats and then combine them together. And all honesty, it's probably going to depend relatively on how bothered I am and how lazy I'm feeling, if I can be bothered to put them together in post. But we'll shoot a few different shots here and hopefully then get on into the old town before that gets too busy as well.
So I ended up opting for a simultaneously lazy and non-lazy option. I didn't go to the effort of combining images in post for this final result, so you may notice some motion blur on the boat and in the bushes. However, what I did do was again set my alarm nice and early. And then the next morning I walked up to the exact same spot once more, and it turns out it paid off. I was met with less wind and more colour in the sky.
Now, so no one notices we're gone, we're going to want to cover as much ground as possible as quickly as possible. So that's when a drone comes in really handy. If you can, I'd recommend flying one. In Europe, you do have to register your drone before use, even if it's below 250 grams, if it has a camera on it. And as well, some countries do require you to have liability insurance. And this way, we can get lots of images from different perspectives without having to put in too much legwork.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
So really what I'm trying to do with the drone is just grab a couple of aerial shots of the city. I mean, they're a great memento of the trip, as well as kind of a more interesting perspective, obviously I just can't get with my camera. The light's just about coming on to the town now as well. So there's a little bit of golden light, a little bit of shade, a couple of mountains in the background. Obviously keeping the drone below that 120 metre mark, which is what I'm legally allowed to fly to in Europe, in the majority of Europe, to be honest with you. And with the DJI drone, what I'll always do is I'll shoot this with the 48 megapixel option, which is kind of using a quad Bayer sensor to split that up. It's not really true 48 megapixels, but I will shoot that. I'll shoot the RAW, and I'll also shoot some brackets in a normal kind of a 12 megapixel file, I think, just so that I've got both options, and that way I can kind of play with those later on. So that was a little bit scary. I think it turns out that the thick kind of old castle walls here block the signal relatively quickly. So I lost signal, started doing an automatic return to home, which is obviously a fantastic feature. I think it would have landed back here, but it's come back into reach now, and I should be able to get a couple more shots and hopefully not drop the drone into the sea. I think I've got that lined up pretty nicely for a shot now. I've kind of got the walkway where I'm stood coming off into one corner of frame, and then the harbour on the right hand side here as well, and also a little bit of mountain in the background. Not obviously including much sky in there because the sun's come up a little bit and there's not really any cloud. And in all honesty, these drones are great for aerial shots. They're great for pictures. The picture quality is actually pretty good considering how small they are, but they're not the best in low light. So personally, I like to shoot a little bit more with them when the sun is a little bit higher up like it is now. So I'm not going to get like kind of amazing colours in the sky or anything like that, but I'm going to get some warmer light actually on the buildings, and then that way I'm going to end up with a sharper image as well. So drone safely landed, a few nice shots in the bag, and I think we still have enough time to go and explore the old town a little bit before anyone wakes up. And as with most photography, you're going to want to get up early. Now, the benefits of this are twofold. Obviously here in a town like Dubrovnik, it's much quieter just after sunrise or first thing in the morning, especially here on the side streets. There's almost nobody here, but later on in the day there'll be lots of people, hordes of people all over the place. But you can see here down these side streets we're pretty nice and quiet. Also, it means we can get a bunch of photography done and we can make our way back home, probably pop back into bed, and no one's even going to know we're gone. The other morning we did also have a bit of a stroll through the old city here, through the old town. And again, I kind of scoped out a few little spots that we might want to come back and shoot. And what I've been really enjoying is these kind of tighter alleyways. And it's about 7 o'clock now, and some of the light is hitting the buildings, the orange roofs, the kind of famous orange roofs in the background there. So what I'm trying to do is shoot at a slightly longer focal length, 50 to 70 millimeters, and kind of try and get a pleasing frame. There's a lot of kind of mess. It's a very busy shot. So I'm trying to kind of crop certain areas or zoom in on certain parts. And if I can, use kind of a lower aperture to push the focus maybe more into the distance. But it could be an interesting shot, really represents Dubrovnik and what the city looks like. But it's just trying to find that perfect level of kind of focal compression and perspective, I think. So it's 7:30 now. I'm leaving the old town, heading back home. The sun's up, it's beginning to get pretty hot and it's beginning to get a bit more crowded as well. But I think I should have enough time to get home, maybe even get a little nap in, and then wake up and have breakfast and get to the pool with everyone else. So they will be none the wiser. Now obviously it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but just a disclaimer, if you use any of these tips to hijack your own holiday for photography, I cannot take any responsibility for it. If you're too tired to look after the kids, or the wife's annoyed that you're woken her up in the morning, that's not my fault. But once again, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This is going to be the first of 2 videos coming from Europe. We're currently on a European trip. So the next one will be from Greece, exploring some of the small islands for a bit of street photography down there. So stick around if you want to see that. And hopefully I will see you on the next one.